Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 14 of What If Naruto Was Abandoned in Awaken a Kekkei Genkai. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in social media platform. And also guys, stay in tune for the rest of the tips coming your way over in Anime King 3 and Anime King 2. If you're new, yes, you heard that correctly. I did have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode starts the intro. So the last time we left off, Uncle was in a bad condition, as Orochimaru had hurt her badly. As Naruto worked on her, he was able to get her stabilized as he brought her back to the village. He was in his adult form, no longer having on disguise as his younger form. Uncle was curious why he was there though, as he told her he was just watching over Naruto. With that he made his way, as Hana saw them. He told her that he will meet her back with her when he dropped Uncle off. With that she brought him back to the house as she was gonna come there to see the preliminaries. She had a wild idea, but her mother came and interrupted them as Hana left the door open. As Tatsumi talked to the both of them for a while, until they had to head out back, as Naruto made his way, as he almost killed Valius when he tried to threaten Natsume. As Valius was really getting over the top, as Naruto had to calm himself from not delivering serious damage to the boy. So with that, the first phase of Chunin exams came up. The first phase of the preliminaries, as Sasuke faced off against one of Kabuto's teammates. The matches went by until Kiba was supposed to face off against Valius. Valius was rather cocky, calling Kiba a mutt. Kiba told Naruto and Hana that he would handle this as he made his way down there. The battle was gruesome as Valius didn't hold back, showing the Uzumaki style of fighting and not to mention his efficient style in ninjutsu, as he showed that he really had them under control. He was able to deliver a sonic wave of energy that hit Kiba badly. Kiba then used his ultimate transformation as he transformed into a massive two-headed wolf, as Valius got knocked around, but his mother told him to snap out of it and focus. Valius turned towards Kiba as the battle began once again. Kiba was running out of chakra as Valius ended up knocking him down. Valius was about to kill him as others tried to make their way there, but to everyone's surprise, Naruto arrived there before they could. They blinked in confusion as Kurna didn't understand. How was it even possible? As Naruto stopped Valius, who glared at him angrily, but he did not do anything. After all, he will have his time to kill him. With that out of the way, Yujito faced off against her own teammate, as she told her to go all out, so Yujito did not hold back so much, as she ended up hurting her, but not that bad, as Naruto told her that it was fine. After all, she had asked her to go all out on her, and it would be disrespectful if she held back. As the girl, I knew that Yujito was strong, but never thought that she was that strong. The next match was Naruto versus Katsumi as he made his way down there. Everyone was surprised when Katsumi released a massive fire, and Naruto sliced in half with wind. How was that even possible? Wind was supposed to ignite fire, and yet Naruto wind was so powerful it sliced it in half, as Naruto got ready to put the hurt on her. So yeah guys, was basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place to check out for yourself. So what is to begin this new episode? Katsumi was panting, as she hadn't even got a hit on him, as she was using jutsus after jutsus, but he dodged every single one of them. She wiped the blood away from her mouth when his kick had connected right in her face, as she pulled a scroll from her back, as she dropped a few drops of blood on it, as she released something out of the scroll. Touch of the Almighty, her blade. The blade was at least 5 feet long, from the hilt to the tip. The hilt looked like it was made of pure gold. It was well crafted as she gripped it tightly. Her brother, Kiroshiro, looked down towards her. She's using that already, he thought to himself. She only pulled that blade when She was fully invested in a battle, and she knew that she had to take things seriously. That's a nice blade, said Naruto. However, the name's a bit presumptuous, is it not, said Naruto. This is a Uzumaki heirloom. For a generation, I've been told. It has passed down in our clan. Up till now, I didn't think I would be using it in this battle. But it will give me the edge for me to take you down, she said. As the blade was literally humming in agreement, as she pointed the tip straight towards Naruto. As she lowered the blade to her side, crackling could be heard. That is no ordinary blade, Naruto thought to himself. It's emanating lightning chakra. As Naruto looked around him, she had covered the entire field in water as he was standing on the small lake. Kasumi smirked as she stabbed her blade into the ground. The lightning from her blade shot forward, going straight towards Naruto as Naruto jumped up in the air. But the small water droplets that were up with him when he jumped, the lightning actually moved into them and struck him right in the back as it sent him crashing face first into the puddle. Katsumi and her family simply smirked as they watched. She grabbed her blade as she brought up to her face as she whispered a few words before she twisted her hand and stabbed the blade right into the water once again as a sound of lightning raced into the water as it slammed into Naruto as he winks out in pain. Naruto-kun, Yujito thought, as she clenched her fists as she watched Naruto getting electrocuted. Despite being electrocuted, Naruto went through hand sign, water style, dragon, projectile jutsu, he said, as the water came up and smashed to the side of the building as it all went outside. Now the water was gone, Naruto got back up to his feet as Katsumi cursed. Smart move, Naruto-kun, Sarutobi thought, as Naruto pulled a kunai and then he moved. As Katsumi moved as well, their two weapons clashed right in the center as everyone watched as an intense battle of Kenjutsu happened. She, with her long blade, was trying to cut him down. She would make sure that she'd take him down for what he did to her brother. This demon will be freeing her brother's soul right now, right there, as she twists and turns. But Naruto evaded all of her attacks as he clashed his kunai against her blade. As Katsumi watched Naruto bring his kunai down, she released the grip that she had on her blade as the kunai ripped into her shoulder. Everyone was surprised by that. You're free now, brother, said Katsumi, as a Rasengan formed right in her palm. Rasengan, she cried as she slammed her right arm right into Naruto's chest. Everyone's eyes went wide as Rasengan slammed right into Naruto's chest and started grinding into it. Team Whirlpool had smirks on their faces, finally realized that it was over, that the demon was gone, and their brother was now free. But Natsume was simply smiling, as Katsumi did not stop as she grinded the Rasengan right into him, bursting through his chest. As if she would have stopped her attack right now, you'd have seen his heart beat inside his chest, but she did not stop. She trained her entire life for this, and she was about to free her brother once and for all, as she slammed it right into his heart. Her hand was finally inside his chest, as she looked up to see his final reaction, but it confused her. She was shredding his heart, and it was destroyed now, and yet he was smirking. Why? She thought to herself, as a thought popped into her mind. It is taunting me. Even in death, it taunts me. As she summoned more chakra to her hand, as the Rasengan spin more deadly. I win, Kyuubi. Now go to hell! As the Rasengan exploded, as Naruto's upper half exploded along with it. Chunks of blood and flesh flew everywhere, leaving a bloody mess. Most of the onlookers were shaken to their core at how this match ended. The red mist started to dissipate as she stepped out of it. Proctor, call the match, she said, as she noticed a Proctor looking on with shock. It's not possible, thought Sarutobi, many of the others thinking the same thing. As he was killed. Naruto Uzumaki no Mikaze was just killed. Yujito's look was one of fear, sadness, anger. I'm sorry, kitten, said Nibe. She had just found someone that she could open her heart to, and he was just snatched away from her. Winner, the Proctor said. Naruto-kun, Yujito cried out. As everyone turned towards her, she collapsed to her knees, tears seeping from her eyes. Oi, what's with all the yelling? It's like someone died in here, said the voice. Everyone blinked as they turned towards the arena door. Standing there was two people, and one of them was Naruto, who was completely fine, not even a single scratch on him. Impossible, everyone thought, as they just saw him die. This didn't make any sense. Naruto-kun, thought Yujito, as she wiped tears away. Bastard. Had us worried sick, said Nibe. But I'm glad that he's alright. Ah, I see. So she was able to defeat my clone then, said Naruto. Well then, I suppose it's my turn then, as he nodded at Hana who was standing next to him, but now walking the steps to meet his team. Clone? Everyone thought. What kind of clone is that? A blood clone, said Sarutobi. A blood clone? Said Kurenai, as Sarutobi's voice went around, seeing that everyone was silent. He nodded. I rarely use powerful clone jutsu. That most shinobis as think of obsolete, because newer. Clone has been created such as the shadow clone jutsu. What exactly is it, Kurenai asks, as Naruto turned towards the Genjutsu mistress. The name should explain it all. It's a clone, made entirely of the user's blood. But the reason it's so powerful and the reason why most shinobi doesn't use it anymore is because of the cost of the user. The only way to summon a blood clone is to have the exact volume of the blood of the user, meaning that you have to drain the user's blood in the weight of the clone to create a blood clone. Many of the shinobis in the room gasped to hear that. However, with this great sacrifice comes great reward. This clone has no set time of limit. It can be a perfect copy of the user, making it great for spying or escaping. And finally, the blood clone, when summoned, is gifted with a third of the user's chakra without actually taking chakra from the user itself. It can bleed and take damage, and only be dispelled when killed or told to, as he was now standing right in the center of the arena. I was fighting a clone this entire time? Katsumi yelled in her mind. You know, that took me a while to create. Well, I suppose it did its job, said Naruto as he looked over Katsumi. She gritted her fists. True. But, while your jutsu is impressive, I still win, she said. You lost. I beat him. Yeah, but last time I checked, a clone is just a clone. A shinobi weapon. Just because you break a weapon doesn't mean the wielder is defeated. It would be the same concept if Values, who I'm going to have a chat with after what I saw in Duty Kiba, defeated only Akamaru. If Akamaru was defeated, that doesn't mean that Kiba was out. That means that our battle is still going on. You just earned the right to fight the real me now. Proctor, said Katsumi as she looked towards the Proctor. He's right, a clone is a jutsu, no matter the type. Defeating a clone means nothing if the shinobi can still fight. There you go, said Naruto as he tapped his sandals on the ground in a bored fashion. Very well, she said. But you have me at a great disadvantage. Is the almighty demon really gonna allow me to fight when I use up at least half my chakra? She taunted him. She really need to get some rest. Technically, said Naruto, there is no disadvantage. You fought against my clone and used away most of your chakra, and that isn't really my concern now that I'm ready to fight. However, as he turned towards Kushina, I'm not gonna have Kushina or anyone else use your weakened state against me to say I fight you at your weakest when I annihilate you. Oi, Snavy, he said. Everyone blinked in confusion as they wondered if he was going crazy. After all, Snavy hasn't been seen in Konoha for years now. Drop the genjutsu and get down here. I want her at top form when I crush her, said Naruto, as he was looking towards Sarutobi direction. As everyone turned their eyes over there, they saw a distortion on the wall that quickly changed to reveal Snavy of the Sanin. Not only that, but there was another distortion on the right to reveal Jiraiya of the Sanin. Not bad, Naruto. So you were able to pick us up. Even me use one of my best genjutsu. Those 6 years must have been intense. The rugged but amused voice of Jiraiya called out a smile. Don't address me with such familiarity, Jiraiya. And I didn't ask for you. I called for Snavy. You can go back to your damn books, said Naruto. So he knows. Both Sanin thought at the same time. Naruto, I can explain, said Snavy. As Naruto growled, enough. That conversation can wait. Now heal her. The audience was very confused about his connection to two of the three legendary Sanins, and the way he spoke to them. Snavy frowned but nodded, knowing that nothing could be solved until they were finally able to speak to him. As she made her way down to Katsumi and started to heal her wounds. After a few minutes, Katsumi looked refreshed, but her chakra was still half. As Naruto gave Snavy a glare, as she sighed and pulled out a bottle, as she gave Katsumi one of the pills. Katsumi took it, as she felt her chakra bolster in her body, returning back to 100%. As Snavy frowned as she glanced over towards Naruto. I'm sorry, she said. She whispered, so only he could hear in a select few. Naruto snorted in annoyance and appreciation for her help, as she flashed back to her sensei. Feeling better, are we? Said Naruto. Yes, but I never thought that you would be an honorable demon, especially with your track record. You must have gotten that from all the brave and honorable Konoha shinobi that you've eaten. But Naruto said nothing. No witty comeback, Katsumi asked. Konoha. Honorable, said Naruto. I suppose that is an eye of the beholder. Because I see nothing good about this village. Except for a few, said Naruto. A few good people. The rest of them are just scum. As everyone narrowed their eyes at him, at his, well, disrespect towards their own village, some of the foreign shinobi smirked though. Especially the son, Jonin, who had a smirk so wide you thought his face would get ripped in half. Katsumi was about to say something but an enormous amount of ki exploded from his body. Most of the Jonin was surprised that he was able to produce this amount of power as the ground cracked underneath him from sheer weight alone. Katsumi's legs were shaking and she swallowed thickly. Why can't I move, she thought to herself. The pressure then vanished, as she could move once again, as she panted. What the hell? As she looked back up to Naruto, its entire body was surrounded by a blue aura. Not only that, but the aura created massive dragon wings that came from his back. The wings were made from pure chakra. They flap and they stretch like they were the real thing. They then went into a stationary position behind his back. As Naruto snapped his eyes toward Katsumi, she took a step back. What kind of jutsu is that, she said. Never seen or heard about a jutsu like that before. White Lotus of the Dragon, said Natsumai, as everyone's eyes turned towards her. As the guy snapped his eyes up. Did you just say White Lotus of the Dragon? Yep, said Natsumai with a grin, as Guy's eyes were wide. The same style that has been lost for centuries. The same style that has been claimed to be the deadliest and strongest taijutsu style in the world. The very same style that has said to be defeated 50 strong armed samurais with no weapons, only a beginner knowledge. As Natsumai nodded. Yes, the one and only. Although Naruto isn't the same, it is his original own style. He simply used the foundation of the original style to create his own. He wanted to honor it by using it as the same name. And it's a lot more powerful than the normal style that you speak of. But don't take my word for it. Watch and see for yourself, she said. Natsu-chan, you use too much, said Naruto. You know we don't want everyone knowing everything. Sorry, Naruto-kan. But I'm just so excited, she said. Just don't do it again, said Naruto, or I'll punish you. If you really wanted me not tell anyone, threatening me with punishment is not the right way to go. I rather enjoy some punishment, she said. As Naruto smirked at that, he then looked back towards Katsumi. Shall we begin, he said. She took a breath. I guess I'll just have to click those wings. As she dropped into her family fighting stance. Come, she said. A sadistic smile came on his face as he vanished. She snapped her eyes around. He's fast. You know, you would be horrible at hide and seek, you know. As everyone snapped their eyes up as Katsumi saw Naruto standing upside down looking at her. Then it's a good thing this isn't some kind of game. In her mind she cursed though as she did not sense him or see him until he spoke. Just what did he learn in those 6 years? Kakashi thought himself. I could barely see anything at all. He might even be faster than Sharingan could see. Kakashi removed his hand from his pocket as he started to raise his headband, only for a kunai to slam right on the headband. Kakashi. Everyone blinked in shock when Naruto was standing on the railing right in front of Kakashi. I didn't spend all those years perfecting my style for someone to steal it with a damn glance. So you better keep that damn eye shut if you don't want to lose it. His tone, leaving no questions for opening, as Kakashi just nodded, as Naruto flashed back away, as Kakashi felt something creep up in his spine a moment ago. Fear. As he glanced down towards the railing that was now dented. Katsumi blinked, the next moment he was in front of her. Sorry, I dislike people that don't work for their strength, and just want it, said Naruto. Katsumi blinked in confusion. How is he so fast? As everyone noticed the craters, the moment his feet touched down. They didn't hear it, but the craters just appeared. Was it that powerful of an aura? Well then, shall we begin? As Naruto moved, Katsumi crossed her arms. The next moment everyone saw her sailing as she smashed into the wall. She collapsed on her knees, coughing up blood. As she clenched her stomach, everyone blinked in confusion, as they didn't even see Naruto's fist compacted with her. She stood up on shaky legs as she looked towards her opponent, as Naruto was kicking and punching like he was testing out his limbs like they were brand new. She glanced towards her mother, and she saw a lot of emotion run across her mother's eyes, and one that she never thought that she would see in her mother. Fear. The hatred she could understand. Here was her firstborn that was taken over by a demon that was now beating her daughter. But she had never seen her mother afraid before. She was always collected, calm and strong, never afraid. It was the damn fox. Everything was that fox's fault. It's all your fault, Katsumi screamed in her mind. I will, she shouted. I will destroy you, she shouted as she snapped her body up, her eyes burning with nothing but determination. She grabbed a bunch of shurikens and launched them towards Naruto. who stood there. The adrenaline pumping through her veins, she flashed Johan sign, wind style, gale palm. The speed of the shurikens increased in fold. As Naruto stood there, he tilted his head as he twisted his body as they passed him. The next moment, Katsumi was behind him as she brought her blade down. As Naruto grabbed her wrist, she blinked in confusion. Naruto turned and black-handed her away as he held onto her blade. Nice sword, he said. He then threw it. As he threw it so fast, it ripped through the air. Everyone snapped their head towards Kushina. Her cheek was bleeding, and the sword was embedded in the wall. As Naruto then blinked away, Katsumi froze and he appeared in front of her. Now, I'll show you what my jutsu can do besides mess up the environment. She quickly scrambled and jumped away as she hit into something. She turned, blam, a fist connected with her face that threw her back. She was about to regain her bearings, but a slamming kick into her ribs stopped that. As something then crashed into her back as she slammed face first on the ground before something crashed right into her face, launching her back as she rolled on the ground. As Naruto was moving so fast, it was like her body was spasming. Because you could not see him, you just saw the ground breaking apart. And her crying out in pain. Unbelievable, everyone thought. He couldn't be a genin. It wasn't possible. As Kushina clenched her fists, Kyuubi, you truly are a monster. You could have ended this already, yet you're taking great pleasure in humiliating the Uzumaki clan and beating a defenseless girl. As Kushina was gripping the blade that she dislodged from the wall, that her knuckles were white. She was gripping it very tightly. The beating didn't stop as Katsumi was on the ground. She could barely open her eyes, but when she did, she saw a fist in front of her face. As she froze, she felt the power on the fist that would have completely knocked her head off. As she looked at his face, what she saw confused her though. He was not smirking in enjoyment. He actually looked angry. He was frowning, like he was annoyed. Well, it was fun while it lasted. Not to my thought. She knew that Naruto wasn't going to kill her. The girl did not deserve death because of Kushina brainwashing. As she could see the inner turmoil of Naruto. As Naruto sighed in annoyance as he got to his feet. Proctor, call the match, he said. The Proctor realized that Katsumi was no match for him, and she would die if this continued. As he stepped into the arena. Winner, wait, said a voice. As Katsumi was gripping her stomach. As she looked towards him. Wait, Kyuubi, she ordered. You can barely stand. Do you really want to continue? Because trust me, if I do, you will die. Why? Why did you stop? Was it because you think I'm weak because I'm just mortal, she asked? That I can't take you on? That I can't defeat you? Or is it that I'm a girl? Why? Tell me, demon, she said. Why did you stop your attack and spare my life when I know that deep down in your soul you wanted to kill me? Because I never planned on killing you, said Naruto. Perhaps I'm a demon of sorts, as he turned his gaze towards mother. But I am not the Kyuubi. I only wish to completely defeat you, Katsumi, so that your mother could see what she truly given up when she abandoned her first son in this village. And as long as you don't push your luck, you won't have to die, he said. She clenched her fists. Why? You torture my family so much. How can you not be a demon after you took my brother away? Why, she said as tears flew in her eyes, as he turned into rage. As she shot forward, a massive Rasengan appeared in her hand that was not normal at all. Kushina, you taught her that after I expressly told you not to teach her it until you retire as clan head. Jiraiya shouted at Kushina. She need that edge, Jiraiya-san. Why should she learn it later when it can serve her best right now of all times? Jiraiya lowered his head. How far you have fallen, Kushina, he said. Minato must be rolling in his grave right now. Though, I'm not much better, am I, Naruto? Give me back my brother, Katsumi yelled. Ultra, big ball Rasengan, she screamed out. Wind style Rasengan Shuriken, said Naruto. As many people were shocked when they saw what Naruto did. Jiraiya blinked in shock. He added an element to the Rasengan. As Naruto turned and smashed his wind style Rasengan into hers. Katsumi Rasengan stood absolutely no chance, as it was penetrating the barrier of the wind, slicing right through Katsumi Rasengan, as Katsumi Jutsu was blown back into her, as well as Naruto's own, as a massive dome of nothing but raw chakra exploded outwards as Naruto vanished. Naruto-kun, you are too kind for your own good. But that's what I love about you, felt Natsumai. As she had saw Naruto vanish, she knew what he was doing. When the beam finally cleared away, Where's Naruto-kun? And the Uzumaki asked Hana, as she did not seem anywhere. Medic said a voice. As they saw Naruto at the entrance when the medic would come out, they gasped in shock when they saw his back. It was like a samurai used it as practice. His pants were torn, and so was his shirt badly. Sir Tobi's eyes went wide. He saved her. As everyone saw Katsumi in Naruto's arms, her entire clothing had been ripped off. As Katsumi was in a bad condition, she was bleeding badly. No, but she couldn't finish her sentence. She couldn't even talk properly. Katsumi was confused. She saw concern and guilt in his eyes. Despite knowing what he was, why would he save her? Is the Kyuubi as really bad as you say, Mom? She thought to herself. Despite trying to kill him, he saved her. It made no sense. As she fell unconscious, as Naruto placed her on the stretcher, he ripped off the remainder of his flap jacket and placed it over her. As the medics took her away, as Naruto stepped forward, the proctor announced, "Winner, Naruto Uzumaki no Mikaze," he said. As Naruto looked up, "I hope you're satisfied, Kushina," he said. "I will never be satisfied until you're dead, and Naruto-kun is free, monster," she said. As Naruto growled in annoyance before he flashed away and appeared beside Yujito and Hana. "Are you okay, Naruto-kun?" both of them asked. At the exact same time, they looked at each other before they blushed. As Naruto waved them off, "Don't worry, I'm fine," he said. As he sat down against the wall, an incredible match Naruto-san, said Haku, with a smile on her face. "That it was," said Natsumai. "But you should probably put a shirt on." "They're all staring," she whispered. As Naruto looked around, as most of the girls were staring at his chest, everyone was still at awe at what they just witnessed. As Naruto decided to go and change his clothing, given the fact that he was badly ripped apart, Naruto made his way at the Namikaze mansion. His bloodlust for the battle was there at first, but as the battle went on, he realized that she only wanted one thing: to free his soul that was corrupted by the Kyuubi. Kushina had brainwashed all of them, yet she was out trying to free her brother, even at the cost of her own life. If he was told every day that his brother was taken and sealed away by a demon, and their soul would never rest until the demon was dead, he would have tried to kill him as well. It was all Kushina's fault. Although he couldn't forgive the clan, he would never forgive them what he put him through. He couldn't help but think that Katsumi, Kyoshiro, and Values, despite his attitude, were fine to him because Kushina brainwashed him to think that his soul could only be saved by killing him. He had no love for the clan, and he didn't really care much about sentimentality, and him and the Uzumakis broke apart a long time ago. So it wasn't in him to talk to them and make them see reasons, although he doubted that they would listen to him. "You train your own children to kill me, and yet you call me a monster." He shook his head as he got the sandals as he left the mansion. As Naruto was about to leave, as he arrived at the gates, as he saw Yujito there. "Yujito-chan," he said, as he closed the gate and activated the compound defenses. "Yujito-chan, what is..." He was cut off as he was slapped. Naruto held his face as he turned back towards her, but she was crying, tears pooling down her cheeks. "Yujito-chan," said Naruto. I'm sorry," she said. As she looked at him, she apologized for slapping him. She grabbed him by the shoulders. "You idiot." "What did I do?" said Naruto. "You died, right in front of me. I thought that you actually died." As Naruto then realized that he didn't think that how it would affect the people that he knew when they saw his blood clone get destroyed. Especially Yujito, who just found someone that she could relate to on such a personal level. Hana would have reacted the same way, but she was with Kiba at the time. As he got rather guilty, knowing that he should have said something, as Naruto reached towards her, as he placed a hand on her cheek, she did not look at him as he wiped away her tears. "I'm so sorry," he said. Her gaze went back to his as she softened when she saw the apologetic look on his face. She sniffled. "You better be. Because if you had really died just after we became friends, I would have found a way to bring you back and kill you myself." And she didn't want to look emotionally weak. "I'll remember that," said Naruto. "I promise it won't happen again. Come on, let's get back," he said, as she nodded. At the tower, when they arrived, they saw Kyoshiro as he was on the stretcher being brought to the medical bay. His right arm was twisted in a way that wasn't humanly possible. He was in a bad shape. His other hand was clutching his right eye as blood was pouring through his fingers. The worst wounds was the slashes across his chest that looked like claw marks. "Was that Natsumai-san?" said Yujito. "No doubt about it," said Naruto. That is her handiwork if I ever seen it before. We should hurry before they start asking where we are. As he made his way, with her beside him. When they reached the double doors, they made their way inside. As they saw Haku in the center of the arena. Haku looked exhausted. She was on her knees, panting. Proctor, I forfeit, she said. Winner, Rock Lee, the proctor said. It was a great match, Haku-san, said Lee. I hope that we may fight again. As he extended his hand towards her. As she took it. Yes, I would like that, Lee-san. I think that we missed a good match, said Yujito. I guess it's over, said Naruto. As Sarutobi started to call all of them, as they made their way in the center of the arena. First, I just want to congratulate all of those who won their matches. Now, concerning the final part of the Chunin exams, it will be the same concept as the preliminary matches that you just fought, but they will take place in exactly 1 month. You will be fighting with an audience of many influential people, lords from far and wide who will come to see you fight. So no matter what, come to win, he said. As he then gave it to Uncle. You heard him, you little bastard, she said. The finals will be the same as the preliminaries, but you will know who you will be fighting, she said. As she had a box in her hand. Alright, pick one. As she moved online and let everyone pick a number. As she then came and scanned over the numbers, before she started to write them on the board with the help of her tunings. Alright, she said. The first match of Chunin exams will be Shikamaru Nara versus Temari. The second match will be Neji Hyuga versus Natsumai. The third match will be Shino Aberame versus Sabuku no Kankuro. The fourth match will be Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze versus Yujito. I'm gonna be fighting him, I'm gonna be fighting her. The both of them thought at the same time. Match 5, Uzumaki Valios versus Rock Lee. Match 6, Gaara versus Sasuke Uchiha, Uncle said. Well, there you have it. You have 1 month to train and learn something better to defeat your opponents. Before Naruto could leave, Sarutobi told him that he wishes to speak to him. Time skip. At the Hokage's office. As Naruto arrived to the office with Hana and Natsumai. What's up, old man, said Naruto, as he completely ignored the 2 other people standing in there. As Hiruzen sighed, well, he knew that this wouldn't be easy. Don't be angry at Sensei, said Jiraiya. You wouldn't come if we had asked you ourselves. As Naruto placed a hand to his forehead before, he went quiet for a few seconds. Alright, speak, he said. Naruto-kan, we just want to have a word with you and explain what happened in the past. But some of the things we are going to speak to you about is rather personal, she said. As Nade looked towards the 2 girls that were standing there. Please don't speak to him in such familiarity. You don't have the right, said Natsumai. And besides, Naruto-kan said it was okay for us to come. We're the closest thing to family that he has, said Hana. Sneddy eyed twitched and she was about to say something, but Naruto spoke up. Explain what exactly, he said. His eyes were so focused on the 2 of them, it felt like he was looking directly through them. That you, Sneddy, or should I say, godmother, decided after I was born, and I was given to that red-headed woman, you disappeared from my life till this very day. While I can forgive the fact that you had your own personal demons to take care of, so you didn't know that Kushina left me for dead here. But that still doesn't change that you never once considered visiting to see how I was doing. Not even sending someone or getting a report from the Hokage to check up on me to see if I was okay. Had you done that, you would have learned what my life was like all those years ago. As he saw the guilty look on her face. And you, said Naruto. Jury of disowning. But I guess I should call you Godfather, right? Left me the same way that Snidey did. Except for more selfish reasons. And even worse. You knew that Kushina left me in this hellhole to rot. You still associate yourself with Konoha. And I'm sure that you had connections in these walls. So the news of the Uzumaki clan, that had to come by you. But yet you didn't arrive in this village. You didn't give a damn. And now, you're making an appearance in my life. You ran away after my dad died. Never looking back. Never coming back to see if I was okay. To check up on me. And now you pop up. And you guys expect me to listen to you. To hear you guys out. Is that it, said Naruto. As the chair that he was holding onto started to crack. The armrests started to break under the weight. Both of them looked down in shame, although he was vicious with his words. He was completely right. Neither of them took their responsibilities as his godparents. It was like another title that was thrust upon them, just like Sanin. They were supposed to be supportive if anything happened to his real parents. His father died and his mother abandoned him, but yet they were never there, not even once. One writing a book while peeping at women and the other one drinking and gambling away her problems. As Naruto took a breath, as both girls placed a hand on his shoulder, calming him. If you come to ask for my forgiveness, you can forget it. You can keep on stewing in your stupidity, your guilty, your self-loathing. I don't give a damn. And if that was all, we'll be on our way, said Naruto as he took both of the girls' hands. Wait, said Jiraiya out of nervousness. We both know what we did, and we know that it was terrible, but we want to make it up somehow. That is why we came back. And how would you do that, said Naruto. We know what we did, and what we're gonna do cannot really change the past. But we hope that somehow, someday, you won't hate us so much. You were born with great potential, Naruto. The Kekkei Genkai from your Namikaze and Uzumaki parts. And we're here to help you, to train you for the month and nurture your skills. We know that you hate us, but it doesn't matter. We will. Naruto snorted. Yes, that is true. Learning from two Sanins would make you strong. But I already have a better sensei. Someone that is loyal and trustworthy. And I wouldn't trade her for anything in this world. As Natsumai blushed at his words. Besides, what could you two teach me? That I don't already know. Tsunade stepped forward. I can teach you the secret towards my insane strength that can destroy mountains in a single punch. Not only that, but I can help you with medical ninjutsu as well. Well, that is if you're up to the task. She said that challenging smirk, hoping that you love challenges, just as Minato. While I will be teaching you several variations of the Rasengan, which I see that you were able to master and also add an element to it. I can also teach you Fuinjutsu, as well as other jutsus I've collected over the years, said Jiraiya. Naruto walked over towards the bookshelf. He lifted his hand and flicked his middle finger against the shelf. The moment he touched it, the thing crushed like an invisible meteor, slammed into it. As he bit his thumb and summoned a sword from his pocket dimension, he then sliced his hand with it. As everyone's eyes went wide, before they realized that Hana and Natsuma was really calm. A green aura came around the slash, and it healed within a second. As his sword was sent back to the pocket dimension. As you can see, I already know how to use my chakra to enhance my strength. He didn't even need to use it, but he wouldn't tell them that. After all the physical training that he did to his body, well, they didn't need to know that. I also have an all-around medical ninjutsu to heal any wound. As Tsunade realized that she couldn't teach him anything. As for you, Jiraiya, as you said, I already mastered the Rasengan, but I have also created 3 powerful variations of jutsu on my own. And I'm currently working on a 4th that could decimate the army faster than even my father using his Kekkei Genkai. You just witnessed me summon a sword, so you have an idea on my skills in Fuinjutsu, even if that is only the tip of the iceberg on my knowledge of the subject. So tell me, what else can you two offer me, because right now, I'm not really impressed. His words and action left them speechless. Their training for him was their trump card, and now that failed. Sarutobi coughed as he saw the hopeless look in their eyes. Perhaps these two could tell you about your parents, and in exchange, you could tell them about your life. As Sarutobi was trying to find a way for them to mend and come to good terms with the boy. Well, perhaps your life after you left on your training trip, said Sarutobi, as he realized what he just said. Yes, we could do that, said Tsunade. Perhaps even get to know each other in the meantime. I do not wish to know anything about the woman that gave birth to me. She and her clan has been dead to me since the moment they walked through those gates. And as far as my dad go, he's unfortunately dead. And while I only have a few things of his, I can see what kind of man he was. And I'm content of what they taught me about who he was and how he lived. Now, if there's nothing else, I really wish to leave. He was about to leave, but Jiraiya called out. Naruto, tell me, he said, just who is your sensei that you spoke so highly of before? You are clearly more powerful than you let on. So I'm wondering, who was the one that trained you? As Naruto looked towards Sarutobi, you didn't tell them yet, Naruto asked. The both of them looked towards Sarutobi oddly. I didn't have time. They just arrived today. Well, said Naruto as he closed by the door. He went through Hansen and placed sand on the door. As he activated Demon Art, sound silencing barrier technique. As both Natsumai and Naruto got turned into smoke. As they stepped out in their demonic forms. Jiraiya and Tsunade, well, they were Sanins, they had more experience than most, so they didn't fly off the handle. They just raised an eyebrow. Care to explain, said Jiraiya, feeling a bad knot in his stomach as he looked towards the now adult Naruto. Not really, said Naruto, but I'll tell you what, the old man knows already. First of all, Natsu-chan here was my sensei after I left Konoha, and the other thing is, she's the Kyuubi, he said. They didn't react nice this time. As Jiraiya formed a Rasengan in his hand, Tsunade's face started to glow. As the both of them moved, not thinking rationally, before they were stopped by a blade. Sanin or not, attacker, said Naruto, and your life are forfeited. This is your one and only warning, said Naruto. The both of them were shocked. He was able to react to their speed like it was nothing. They looked towards Natsume who was smirking. In their mind they thought that she had turned him into a weapon. Sir Toby Sensei, why? Are you allowing this to occur? It's obvious she's using him as a shield and a sword against Konoha, said Jiraiya. You do not know all the facts. I understand your reaction because of the past, but right now, things are different. And while I don't know every intimate detail between us two while they were gone, I believe their story of not wishing this village any harm, unless harm is done to them first. They have provided vital information that disprove any intention of them harming Konoha. But the Kyuubi tried to destroy the village, said Snappy. Listen to the old man, said Naruto. You are both out of your elements and over your head. And unless he wishes to tell you more about the situation, you should keep such outbursts to yourself. Both of Naruto's katanas were already gone. Sensei, what exactly is going on here? Asked Nadia. She couldn't really understand what the hell was going on. Old man, they have no right to know me as I am, said Naruto. Just tell them what is important to know. With that, both Naruto and Natsume return back to their farm. Yes, I will tell them what is needed, said Sarutobi. Thanks, said Naruto. I'll see you later, old man, he said. As him and the girls left, Snappy sighed. She dropped down on the couch. We really screwed up, didn't we? Sarutobi took a puff of his pipe. What both of you did, or lack thereof, cut Naruto deeper than you could ever imagine, especially after the betrayal of his mother and clan. And when he later found out about your relationship to him, you both will be lucky if he even acknowledge you in the future, unless you can think of something that will create a path between you and him. Now, there's some things that you two need to know. Listen carefully because this is very important, said Sarutobi. Timeskip on Konoha streets. Well, that was annoying, said Natsume, as her arm was wrapped around Naruto's right. That it was. But thank you, both of you, said Naruto. I'm afraid I was tempted to punch him right through the building, if you two didn't calm me down. The both of them laughed at that image of Naruto punching him right through the building, because Natsume knew of course that he could do it. Until Naruto felt something. Kakashi, what do you want, he said. As Kakashi appeared. I wish to talk to you about something, he said. As Naruto looked at the man with clear annoyance. What was with these people today? But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want the next person to do, like, subscribe, comment down below and turn on the bell notifications they posted. Remember, share all of your friends in your social media platform. And stay tuned for the brand new episode coming over Anime King and Anime King 3. Yes, if you're new, you heard that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post what on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. But for now, I'm out of here. See you guys soon. Peace.